So again, we talked about what NuCurrent's doing, which is something we know about. And there's other things we know about or are pretty educated about happening with the rest of the industry. So what are you expecting to happen in 2021 and what are you looking forward to in 2021?
Um, well, one of the things that's been rumored a lot starting probably early this year was that next year Apple was going to be eliminating the
Mhm.
the, the wired connector, which is their Lightning connector on their phone. So that is really going to put the user into a total wirelessly charging situation. They won't be able to plug it in even if they want to. That's something that is really a game changer. It's been a long time in coming. And it's still rumored right now, but I've heard enough rumors from early this year to, they're already saying that it's going to be in the high tier iPhone for next year. Um, so that's going to be a game changer, and in a sense, a paradigm shift or a sea change in how users are going to use their product. Similar to a few years ago when Apple got rid of the audio connector, it was met with a lot of kind of criticism, but now you see adoption across a whole range of even Android users where it's getting hard to find phones that have audio ports anymore. So I think that's one area that I think is going to be a significant difference, and it's going to start this coming year.
Yeah, Apple's certainly a tastemaker in the mobile phone technology space, also in the audio space. We just saw them release their new Beats products, and we also saw the AirPod Pros, the over the head. So they're moving forward a lot with the audio technology too. And there's some wireless charging in that, but I can expect a lot more wireless charging of the actual devices to come into their hearable products. So where the AirPods charge without a case, where the over the ear charges without plugging it in. So there's so much potential that I'm confident is coming this year into the hearable space. And I think that's really exciting. Apple's one of the leaders there. I think in the in-ear market, they have over 40% of the market share. There's a lot of other, pretty substantial companies that are bringing new technologies into the market. So I think we're going to see some real innovations of how to utilize wireless charging and data in those devices going forward. And Apple's a real tastemaker. And if they do something like remove the charger jack from the phone, that's going to really change the way most companies in the world see wireless charging as a necessity.
That's right.
On the another area, a big trend that we obviously saw accelerate this year, given the COVID remote work and stay at home situation, is this in the way people work is a lot more over video conference, is a lot more uh, hot desking, or where you kind of share spaces in the main environment, but you don't have your permanent desk. It's less permanent, it's more used by convenience, so people can economize spaces when you only have a few people coming into the office. So I see that wireless charging in 2021 is going to play a bigger role of enabling even more convenient and beneficial user experiences for video conferencing, for hot desking, and for other applications in that area. And I'll put in a plug here for a company that we've worked with for a long time, Chargeify. Chargeify has a really cool hot desking application where not only does it make wireless charging uh, a convenience for the user, but it also makes it an integral part of the office environment, so that the cleaning staff knows when they need to come over and sanitize one of those desks that's going to be reused by someone else, or if the conference room is going to be used for people an hour later, the cleaning staff knows to come in and clean because of some of the intelligence that Chargeify is built in. So I think what Chargeify is doing is just at the very tip of what's happening in this industry, where companies that make video collaboration equipment, the cameras, the microphones, the relays, all of these different things who wants to run wires everywhere in their office? Who wants to have that 20-foot $200 HDMI cable? I think wireless power is going to completely turn that on its head. It's going to let those companies put more value into the actual products, the cameras and the microphones, instead of having to use so much of their product budget on the cabling. And I think wireless charging is really going to unleash a lot of that potential.
Yeah, Chargify is a really interesting company because, and we've known them for a long time. They do a lot of work in the wireless charging space, but they're
Mhm.
not a wireless charging designer or manufacturer, but they find ways of making wireless charging easier and better to use, not only to the point of just making it easier to use, but they totally enhance and almost rewrite the book and being able to find ways of pushing it to an extent where you say this is almost a necessity now. And I think the hot desking is a good example of you move from one place to another, you drop your phone down, and all of a sudden there's an exchange from a charging standpoint where everything gets reconfigured to use in a new environment. That's the type of thing that these guys are thinking of that we don't think about in terms from a hardware standpoint, but they're enabling a whole new way of bringing the office to a new paradigm of how it's used.